I'm so incredibly sorry. I bowed my head as low as it would go, or at least I imagined I did. We had been hauled off to the guard station. After all that, there was no way they were just going to let us go scot-free right then and there. We were surrounded by the dwarven guards who had rushed to the scene. That said, the 5 guys who started it were all still knocked out cold, so it was pretty much just me they were surrounding. That's it. I'll secretly turn back into a slime and escape. A brilliant idea. I immediately turned back into a slime and attempted to flee, but... Grasp. Someone grabbed my body. Then came that familiar floating sensation. I'd been captured. Effortlessly. The guard holding me had a smile on his face that just screamed, "You're not getting away." But the vein popping on his forehead spoke volumes about his true feelings. "Hey, I didn't do anything. I'm a victim too." I blurted out, trying to imitate Gapta, but... Sure you are. But we'll hear your story at the station. Don't even think about running away. He lectured me with a big, friendly smile. Maybe I should just give up. I wondered what Gapta was doing. I glanced over to see him, still standing there, eyes squeezed shut and ears covered. That idiot, what is he thinking? No, he's probably not thinking at all, because he's an idiot. Exasperated, I called him over, and that's how we ended up being escorted to the guard station. A summary of today's 3 events. 1, I got picked on. 2, I turned into a wolf. 3, I howled a little loudly. See, I didn't do anything wrong, right? With that thought, I glanced up at the guard. He still had that same big smile. It suited his rugged, bearded, good-natured face. Too bad about that vein on his forehead, though. Why was I brought along, sir? You idiot, what are you talking about? We're in trouble because you got picked on. Huh? Was that what happened? My bad. I messed up again, didn't I? Well, it couldn't be helped this time, but try to be more careful from now on, okay? Phew, looks like I managed to fool him. This is the ultimate technique. Blame someone else. It's an advanced skill one can only acquire after years of experience in society. The key is not to let your opponent suspect a thing. It's harder than it looks. In reality, though, I said it jokingly, my 3-point summary was more or less accurate. It seemed the guard's attitude toward us softened just a little. So, what was that wolf monster? The guard in charge of my interrogation asked. What did he mean by what? Like the species name? The name of that wolf species is... No, not its name. Why did a monster like that appear there? Where did it come from, and where did it go? Tell me everything. Huh? I already told him I transformed, but does he not believe me? Heroes are supposed to hide their ability to transform, but I'm no hero. That's why I was being so open about it. No, like I said, that was me. I transformed into it. Look, it's rare for a slime to be able to talk, but transforming is a bit much, don't you think? No, seriously. You want me to show you? Fine. Let's assume for a moment that it was you transformed. How can you do that? You're a slime, right? Now that he puts it that way, how should I answer? Saying it's a unique skill like a complete idiot would be a bad move. That would put me on the same level as Gapta. Think. Come up with a good excuse right now. The truth is, I was cursed by a wizard. He was probably jealous of my talent. You see, I was a user of illusion magic. Cursed by a wizard, you say. And? Right, yes, I was still a student learning various illusion spells when an evil wizard turned my body into a slime. Now I'm on a journey searching for a way to break the curse. That's my story.
Why did you run into an evil wizard? And why did he curse you instead of just killing you? Grr, just believe me already. He's so annoyingly skeptical. Well, I guess that's to be expected. If he'd believed me that easily, I'd think, are you dumber than a goblin? From there, the back and forth between me and the guard continued for another 2 hours. After 2 hours of passionate debate, a new story was beginning to take shape. The story of a beautiful young girl who was cursed by an evil wizard to become a slime. One thing led to another, and as I kept responding to the guard's sharp pointers, a strange narrative formed in my head. A genius girl, a bokuko who uses boyish pronouns, with a talent for transformation and illusion magic. She's cursed by a witch and sets off on a journey to break the curse. How did this come to this? Whenever I said something strange, the guard would correct my story in the name of interrogation. The story was a masterpiece of our combined efforts.
The guard and I exchanged a look of accomplishment, a look that said, "We did it." Of course, I don't actually have eyes, but even without words, our feelings were connected. All right, the report is complete, even if the contents are total nonsense. Thanks for your cooperation. However, as for your custody, bam! This is bad. An armor source appeared in the mines. Several miners were injured. What? Has the armor source been dealt with? That's under control. The subjugation team is on its way now, but some of the injuries are severe. I don't know if it's for war preparations or what, but all the medicine is sold out, and they can't release the castle stockpiles. What about the recovery mages? They're deep in the mines, escorting the magic ore excavators, right? We've only got rookies left here. What did you say? It sounded like a serious situation. I'm just a fly on the wall here. Though if the castle has a stockpile, they should just use it, I thought. Healing potions, huh? I have some. But what should I do? Hey, Mr. Guard. I decided to give them some. It wasn't at all because I thought it might improve their impression of me and get me off the hook. Absolutely not. Saving lives is the natural thing to do. Even I have my doubts as I say that. But, as they say, what goes around comes around. Maybe something good will happen for me down the line. What is it? I'm busy. The interrogation is over, but I can't release you yet. Wait in this room for a while. No, it's not that. It's about this. I took out a healing potion from my body. To an observer, it probably looked like I just spat it out. What is this? It's a healing potion. You can drink it. You can pour it. It's a miracle worker. Why does a slime like you have a healing potion? Hey, what happened to the Bokuko girl story? He's treating me completely like a slime. So he was just playing along with the story too. Whatever. That doesn't matter right now, does it? Just try using it. How many do you need? There are 6 injured. But are you sure about this? The young guard who brought the news asked, looking at me suspiciously. A monster offering medicine. If I were a guard, I wouldn't accept it. Tch, don't you dare leave this room. Let's go. Huh? But, Captain, it's a monster. Shut up. Let's go. Just lead the way. With that, the bearded guard, who I now realized was the captain, snatched the 6 potions I'd produced and ran off. He was just going along with my story, but it seems he decided to trust me. He seems like a good guy, just as he looks. I'm surprised he was the captain, though. Is it over? Asked Gopta, who had been silently nodding along to my story the whole time. Not over, but I guess we'll wait and see for now. Roger that. We waited, zoning out. The guards who occasionally came in and out of the station looked at us, tilted their heads in confusion, and leave. An hour passed. I was practicing manipulating my thread to kill time when I sensed the footsteps of the captain and his men returning. I put the thread away and waited for them to enter the room. Gopta was asleep. This guy might be a bigger deal than I thought. You saved them. Thank you. The captain bowed his head as soon as he entered the room. Following him were the miners themselves.
You're the one who gave us the potion. Thanks a lot. Honestly, my arm was nearly torn off. I thought even if I survived, I'd lose my job. Thank you. The miners showered me with thanks, except for the last guy. Say something. Well, I could feel their gratitude anyway. After another round of thanks, the miners left. By now, the sun had long set, and it was pitch black outside. After that, I had a long talk with the captain, a serious talk this time. The group of 5 were adventurers from this country's free guild. Apparently, they were famous for being talented, but also for causing trouble. Frankly, this will be a good lesson for them, he said with a laugh. He told me that they had already confirmed we hadn't actually done anything wrong, but they had to detain us to appease the victims in the area. No one had filed a formal complaint. I guess no one was brave enough to demand compensation for soiled underwear. I also told him about our situation, how we needed to procure clothing and weapons to rebuild the goblin village, and how we hoped to hire someone who could teach us various skills. The captain listened intently. The other guards, having learned our story, also came over to talk. Even Gopta was getting bombarded with questions, answering with a dazed look on his face. And so the night wore on. The next day, I'm still at the station. Gopta borrowed a cot in the break room and isn't here. He's probably still asleep. Since I don't need sleep, I've been watching the morning training in the backyard since dawn. The speed at which they swing their wooden swords, which look more like logs, their light sparring matches, their running drills. I'm just leisurely observing it all. I'm running simulations in my head, pitting them against the various monsters I've preyed on. It's just a game to pass the time. But is it really okay to use great sage for something like this? It feels like a waste of its potential. But it's fun, so what can I do? It's fine. The result? An overwhelming victory for the monsters. Even with a handicap, only a few of the guards could beat the bat and the lizard. In a 1v1 fight, the scale seemed to tip in the monster's favor. However, they apparently form parties of 5 to 6, so as a group, some combinations could defeat the spider. But even if all 20 of them here attacked at once, they probably couldn't beat the centipede. These guards aren't the strongest force in the country, so maybe this is to be expected. While I was doing that, Gopta woke up and the captain arrived for his shift. You're free to go. Sorry for keeping you locked up. We had to hold you for a day to save face. My apologies. No, it saved us money on an inn. I'm glad to hear you say that. As an apology, let me introduce you to a skilled blacksmith. That would be a huge help. Thank you. Things were looking up. We basically got to skip the line for immigration processing, and we saved on lodging. I was dreading the thought of having to find a blacksmith, but an introduction from a guard captain is sure to be a good one. If you look on the bright side, this is all working out great. In exchange, is there a catch to this good news? The only backside I'm interested in is on video. If you have any more of that healing potion in stock, I'd like you to sell some to me. I see. He did mention yesterday that they were low on stock. I have a mountain of it, so I don't mind selling, but I don't know the market price. What should I do? Oh well, it's a consumable I made myself for free anyway. If he wants some, I'll give him a few. Sure, but I need some too, so it depends on how many you want. Just whatever you have to spare is fine. If you only have one is fine. Huh? That's a strange thing to say. Doesn't he want to keep some in reserve? Having only one would be a problem in an emergency. Well, he must be really desperate. Well, how about 5? 5! You're a lifesaver! Oh, and you can probably dilute it with water and it'll still be effective. For a normal cut, about 1/10 strength should do. As I explained, he nodded with a look that said, that makes sense. Seeing that he was convinced, I gave him 5 potions, and he handed me a small pouch. I looked inside and saw gold-colored coins. This might not be much, but it's all I can offer. Let me buy them for 5 gold coins each. So, 5 healing potions got me 25 gold coins. This is a good chance to figure out the value of the currency, even if I don't know if I'm getting ripped off. Excuse me, was it not enough? This is really all I can manage. No, the amount is fine, but there's something I'd like to ask. Huh? This amount is fine? Then what did you want to ask? That reaction. Did I get lowballed? I probably could have asked for more. Oh well, this captain seems like a good guy. I doubt he'd rip me off too badly. It's not just about the money. I don't know anything about the value of currency or the prices of things. If you could you please teach me about it? Since, you know, I'm a slime. There I go, contradicting yesterday's Bokuko story with my slime talk. But we're even. He didn't believe it anyway, so it's not a problem. And so, our pre-departure conversation went on for a long time, and we didn't actually set off until after lunch. I can't taste, but I enjoyed the meal. Status: Name, Ramiro Tempest. Species, slime. Divine protection, Crest of the Storm. Title, Ruler of Monsters. Magic, none. Skills: Unique skill, Great Sage. Unique skill, Predator. Slime intrinsic skills, Dissolve, Absorb, Self-regeneration. Extra skill, Water manipulation. Extra skill, Magic sense. Acquired skills: Black Serpent, Heat sense, Noxious breath. Centipede, Paralysis breath. Spider, Sticky thread, Steel thread. Bat, Ultrasonic waves. Lizard, Body armor. Black Wolf, Super olfaction, Thought communication, Coercion, Shadow step, Black lightning. Resistances: Thermal fluctuation resistance XX. Physical attack resistance. Pain nullification, Electricity resistance, Paralysis resistance. Guard captain's perspective. Today, I met a strange slime. It was at the scene of a disturbance where we'd received a report of an impossibly vicious monster appearing. Even from a distance, I could clearly see it, a huge, powerful black monster. Gwa! The monster roared. The sound alone made my legs tremble, and an overwhelming urge to flee washed over me. But I could not allow that. We are the guards who protect the citizens of this nation. We probably can't win, but we must at least buy time until the army can mobilize. I arrived at the scene with grim determination. But, poof! A cloud of black mist appeared, and when it cleared, the giant monster was gone. In its place was a slime, trying to sneak away. Without hesitation, I captured it. It didn't seem to have any intention of resisting. And then I spoke with the slime. A strange monster that understood human speech. It was trying to deceive me with an obviously fabricated personal history, but that didn't matter. Reports from my subordinates had already confirmed that this monster and his companion hadn't actually done anything. It was then that the report of the injuries from the Armorsaurus came in. The Armorsaurus is a rank B monster, a considerable threat. But the subjugation team is made up of seasoned warriors. They should be fine. The problem was the injured. If the injuries weren't serious, it wouldn't be an issue. But after an attack by a rank B monster, you'd be lucky to get away with just a lost limb. And on top of that, there's the current situation. Nations everywhere have begun to strengthen their stockpiles of medicine and supplies in preparation for the Eastern Empire's movements. As a result, consumable items like healing potions are rapidly disappearing from the market. And the healers affiliated with the kingdom are currently away, escorting the magic ore excavation team. It's the worst possible situation. The king's personal court healers are probably available, but they would never be dispatched to heal commoners. They are trump cards for the very survival of the nation. I was contemplating the worst when, "Hey, Mr. Guard!" I heard a voice call out. What is it? I thought. I listened to what it had to say, and it offered me a healing potion. Is it trying to trick me? But this little guy was surprisingly good-natured. From our conversation up to that point, I was beginning to trust it. If anything happens, I'll kill it myself, I decided, and on my own authority, I chose to trust the slime. I arrived at the scene. It was a horrific sight. 6 men lay on the ground. The smell of blood was overwhelming. 3 of the men were in especially bad shape. One's hand was hanging on by a thread. Another's organs were spilling out. A third had a massive gash across his back. They wouldn't make it. "You can drink it. You can pour it on a wound." The slime's carefree voice echoed in my mind. With injuries that severe, they couldn't possibly drink it. If only I could ease their pain. With that wish, I sprinkled the potion I'd received onto their wounds. And then it happened. A wondrous potion, the likes of which I'd never seen. As it touched the wounds, it seemed to burst on its own, showering the injuries in a gentle light. I will never forget that sight. It was a miracle, a magic that even the top-tier royal court healers couldn't perform. Right before my eyes, the injuries healed. It wasn't just me, all of my men witnessed it. The 3 men with lighter injuries were also instantly healed the moment they drank the potion. Not only that, but it also cured their chronic ailments like bad backs and the numbness in their hands that came with their job. What is this stuff? Is this even a potion? This is on the level of the legendary elixir of revival. The 3 who had been saved insisted on thanking the slime, so I took them to it. Watching its reaction, it seemed to have no awareness of how incredible the medicine it had given them was. In that case, I might be able to get it to sell me a few more. If I can get my hands on just one, we might be able to figure out how it's made. Now I regret using all 6. For the 3 with lighter injuries, a diluted dose would have likely been enough. At any rate, tomorrow, I have to negotiate skillfully and get my hands on more no matter what. That night, my mind was so preoccupied with how to approach the slime that I ended up suffering from a lack of sleep the next morning.